the men who believed life is more than thinking. Imagine a young man in the late 1800s, sitting at his desk in Aix-en-Provence, France. His books are stacked high, papers scattered everywhere, the lamp burning into the night. His name is Maurice Blondel, and unlike many philosophers of his time, he isn't satisfied with staying inside his own head. Most philosophers of that era were content to debate abstract ideas, detached from the struggles of ordinary people. Blondel wasn't. He asked a daring question. Backhand index pointing right, what is the meaning of life if it is not lived through action? To Blondel, life wasn't just about thinking or believing, it was about doing. About the choices we make, the struggles we face, and the way our actions reveal who we truly are. And this is where his story matters for us. Because even today, in our world of distractions, overthinking, and endless waiting for the right time, Blondel's philosophy whispers. Right arrow, don't just think about living. Live. With that spirit, let's walk through 10 life lessons inspired by Maurice Blondel, told not as dry philosophy, but as stories that connect his insights to the world we live in. Lesson 1: Life is action, not just thought. One cold morning, a student once asked Blondel, "Isn't philosophy about ideas, about theories, about thinking deeply?" Blondel smiled and replied, "But what good is thought if it never turns into life?" This lesson may sound simple, but think about your own days. How often do we dream of starting a business, yet never take the first step? How often do we want to apologize to someone, but let pride hold us back? How often do we imagine a better version of ourselves, but stop at imagining? Blondel believed that life is not defined by what we think, but by what we do. He called this the philosophy of action. Backhand index pointing right, a dream that never becomes action stays a shadow. Backhand index pointing right, a thought that never becomes a step forward remains empty. Story connection. Picture an artist who spends years imagining the perfect painting. She knows the colors in her mind, the way the brush should move, the image that will dazzle the world. But she never touches the canvas. Years pass, and the painting remains inside her head, beautiful, but invisible to the world. Blondel would say, that's not living. Life application. The lesson here is clear. Don't just think about writing the book, start the first page. Don't just plan the workout routine, step outside and walk. Don't just imagine kindness, show it in one simple act today. Life is measured by action. And action is where meaning begins. Lesson 2: The human will is always reaching beyond itself. Blondel noticed something fascinating about human desire: we are never fully satisfied. Think about it. You finally buy the phone you wanted, within weeks, you want the newer model. You achieve the promotion you dreamed of, soon, another goal takes its place. You fall in love, yet even in love, the human heart yearns for more. To Blondel, this wasn't a flaw. It was a clue. He said our will is always reaching beyond what we can hold. We chase pleasure, success, recognition, but none of them quiet the deeper hunger inside us. This, he believed, points to something profound. We are built for transcendence, for something infinite, something greater than the limits of this world. Story connection. There's a story of a king who had everything: gold, armies, palaces, celebrations. One day, sitting in his grand hall, he sighed, "Why do I still feel empty?" His wise servant replied, "Because no matter how much of the world you own, your soul longs for more than the world can give." This is exactly what Blondel meant. Life application. Don't confuse restlessness with failure, it's part of your human design. That unending hunger you feel, it's not there to torment you. It's there to guide you. Every time you think, there must be more to life than this, you're brushing against Blondel's greatest insight. Your soul is pointing towards something higher. Instead of fearing that longing, embrace it. It's the compass of your being. Lesson 3. Faith and reason are partners, not enemies. For centuries, people have argued, should we live by reason or by faith? Philosophers and scientists often pulled one way, while theologians pulled the other. Blondel, standing in that tension, offered a new way. Backhand index pointing right, what if reason and faith are not enemies, but partners? He believed reason is like a lantern, it lights the path, helping us see clearly. But eventually, the path leads into mystery, into questions reason alone can't answer. Why do I exist? What is the ultimate meaning of love, sacrifice, death? That's where faith steps in. Faith doesn't cancel reason, it completes it. Story connection. Imagine two mountain climbers tied together with a rope. One represents reason, the other faith. Reason guides the climb carefully, watching for loose rocks, planning each step. But there comes a point where reason says, I can't see beyond this fog. I've come as far as I can. At that moment, faith steps forward, leading both higher into the unknown. Without reason, faith might wander blindly. Without faith, reason would stop climbing too soon. Together, they reach the peak. Modern struggle. Think of a scientist who studies the stars. Her equations tell her how galaxies move, how light bends, how time stretches. But in the quiet of night, staring into the endless sky, she whispers to herself, but why is there something rather than nothing? Why am I here? Reason brought her far. Faith helps her take the next step. Life application. If you lean only on reason, life may feel dry, limited, mechanical. If you lean only on faith, you risk drifting into superstition. But together, reason and faith give balance, clarity of mind, depth of heart. Blondel teaches us, don't fear the tension between the two. Embrace it. Because the fullest life is one where mind and soul walk side by side. Lesson 4. Inner restlessness is a pathway, not a problem. Most of us fear restlessness. That nagging feeling at night, am I doing enough with my life? Or that dissatisfaction even after achieving something we thought would complete us. Society often labels this as failure, a sign that something is wrong with us. But Blondel flipped the script. Backhand index pointing right, he believed restlessness is not a curse, but a compass. It's your soul whispering, don't settle. There's more ahead. Story connection. Picture a traveler on a long road. He stops at a small inn, tired from walking all day. The food is warm, the bed soft. He could stay there forever. But deep down, he knows, this isn't the final destination. The longing to move on pulls at him, even when comfort tempts him to stop. That's the story of every human life. Restlessness keeps us moving, keeps us searching for a deeper truth. Blondel's angle. In his philosophy, dissatisfaction wasn't weakness, it was the sign of vitality. A heart that still aches, still wonders, still hungers, is a heart that's alive. Modern example. Think of people who have everything, celebrities, billionaires, influencers. They reach the peak of worldly success, yet often confess they feel empty. That emptiness isn't failure. It's a clue. Blondel would say, That ache is your soul pointing beyond money, beyond fame, beyond comfort. Life application. Don't rush to numb your restlessness with distractions, entertainment, or endless busyness. Sit with it. Ask what it's trying to teach you. Treat your dissatisfaction as a teacher, not a tormentor. Because sometimes, the ache you feel is not a sign you're lost. It's proof that you're still on the journey. Lesson 5. Authentic freedom is choosing what's worthy. Ask most people what freedom means, and they'll say, backhand index pointing right, freedom is doing whatever I want. But Maurice Blondel wasn't satisfied with that answer. To him, freedom wasn't about limitless options or reckless independence. True freedom, he argued, is the ability to choose what's worthy of being chosen. In other words, freedom is not about how many doors you can open, but about which door leads to life. Story connection. Imagine a young man standing in a market where every stall calls out, gold, jewels, food, games, pleasures, distractions. He has the freedom to buy from any stall. But if he wastes all his coins on trinkets, when hunger strikes, he has nothing left. Yes, he was free to choose. But was he free in a deeper sense? Blondel would say no. True freedom would have been choosing what nourishes, what sustains, what gives life. Blondel's insight. He saw that humans often mistake impulse for freedom. We chase after what glitters, believing choice itself is the prize. But real freedom is far more demanding. It asks us to align our choices with truth, goodness, and purpose. Modern example. A person may feel free staying up all night scrolling on social media, but is that freedom or compulsion? Someone may feel free spending money recklessly, but debt quickly enslaves them. A relationship built on selfish desires might feel free in the beginning, but eventually leads to emptiness. Freedom is not doing what feels good in the moment. It's choosing what is good, even when it's hard. Life application. Before making choices, pause and ask, will this decision bring life, or steal it? Remember, every yes you give shapes your future. Freedom is responsibility disguised as opportunity. Practice choosing not just what is possible, but what is worthy. Backhand index pointing right. In Blondel's world, freedom wasn't about escaping limits. It was about choosing the right path, the one that leads upward. Lesson 6. Every choice builds, or destroys, you. Blondel had a deep respect for the power of small, daily choices. He believed that life is like a tapestry, woven thread by thread. Each choice we make, big or small, adds color, texture, and strength to the fabric of who we are. And here's the haunting part, ignoring this responsibility doesn't make it go away. Choosing poorly doesn't just pass time. It shapes us, often in ways we don't realize until years later. Story connection. There's an old tale of two farmers. One carefully plants seeds every day, even when tired. The other laughs and says, "Why bother? I'll enjoy myself today and worry later." Years pass. The first farmer walks through fields full of golden harvest. The second farmer stands in empty soil, wondering why nothing grows. Blondel would point to this story and say, life works the same way. You are planting seeds every day. The question is, will you like the harvest when it comes? Blondel's insight. He believed choices aren't neutral. Each one pushes us in a direction, toward growth or decay, toward truth or illusion, toward fullness or emptiness. Even neglect is a choice. Modern example. Say you ignore your health for years. That daily choice of neglect will eventually speak loudly in sickness. Say you show kindness in small, unnoticed ways. Those acts slowly shape you into someone whose character shines without trying. Say you constantly compromise your values at work, just to get ahead. Over time, those choices don't just affect your career, they reshape your soul. Life application. Treat daily choices as bricks. Each one builds the house you'll live in tomorrow. Don't underestimate the small things, they are never as small as they seem. If you want a better future, start by making a better choice today. Backhand index pointing right. Blondel reminds us, we are the sum of what we do. And while we cannot erase the past, we can start planting new seeds today. Lesson 7, we can't save ourselves alone. Maurice Blondel knew the limits of human will. Yes, our actions matter, and yes, our choices shape our lives, but he also saw that human effort alone will always fall short. No matter how disciplined we are, how hard we try, or how carefully we plan, life has a way of showing us our limits. Illness strikes. Loss comes. Failures surprise us. And the deeper hunger of the soul, that yearning for the infinite, cannot be filled by sheer willpower. Backhand index pointing right. Blondel's radical insight, we cannot save ourselves by ourselves. We need grace. We need help that comes from beyond us. Story connection. Picture a man drowning in deep water. He thrashes, kicks, and fights to stay afloat. For a while, his willpower keeps him from sinking. But as exhaustion sets in, he realizes he cannot survive alone. Just then, a hand reaches out from a boat above. He must choose, will he accept the help, or insist on saving himself by his own strength? Blondel believed life is like that. Our will gets us far, but at some point, we need to accept that the fullness we long for comes as a gift, not an achievement. Modern example. In recovery circles, the first step is admitting you're powerless alone. That surrender opens the door to healing. In grief, no amount of self-talk can erase pain, but the presence of another person, or the comfort of faith, can hold what you cannot carry. In spiritual life, striving alone leads to exhaustion, openness to grace leads to peace. Life application. Stop pretending you can carry everything alone. Ask for help when you need it. Allow others, and God, if you believe, to meet you where you are weak. Real strength is not refusing help, it's knowing when to open your hands. Backhand index pointing right. Blondel teaches us, your limits are not your shame. They're the doorway to grace. Lesson 8, philosophy must meet real life. In Blondel's time, many philosophers wrote as if they lived in ivory towers, cut off from ordinary struggles. Their works were abstract, technical, disconnected from the worries of everyday people. Blondel refused that path. He insisted that philosophy must be about real life, not just theory, but practice. Philosophy that never touches how we love, work, suffer, and hope is incomplete. Backhand index pointing right to Blondel, philosophy wasn't a puzzle for academics. It was a compass for living. Story connection. Imagine two doctors. The first spends all his time studying medicine but never treats a patient. He knows diseases by name, but he never enters the hospital. The second doctor studies too, but every day he listens to real patients, feels their pulse, hears their fears. Which doctor truly practices medicine? Blondel would say philosophy is the same. It must enter the hospital of human life, into marriages, jobs, crises, dreams. Otherwise, it remains empty knowledge. Blondel's own example. When Blondel defended his doctoral thesis, a massive work titled Action, many academics criticized it as too personal, too religious, too practical. But Blondel stood firm. He wasn't writing for scholars in dusty libraries. He was writing for people searching for meaning in the grind of daily life. Modern example. What good is talking about ethics if it doesn't affect how a business treats its workers? What good is talking about meaning if it doesn't guide someone struggling with depression or loneliness? What good is wisdom if it can't survive a hospital waiting room or a funeral? Life application. Ask yourself, does my philosophy of life actually shape my daily actions? Don't settle for clever ideas. Demand wisdom that can walk with you through suffering and joy. Remember, real philosophy is not about sounding smart. It's about living well. Backhand index pointing right. Blondel's challenge remains urgent today. If your philosophy doesn't touch your life, what good is it? Lesson 9. Doubt and struggle can lead to deeper truth. Maurice Blondel's journey wasn't easy. His philosophy was often attacked from both sides. Some religious authorities thought he was too modern, too daring, too close to questioning tradition. Some secular thinkers thought he was too spiritual, too open to faith, too unwilling to reduce life to cold logic. Blondel stood in the middle, criticized from both camps. But instead of breaking him, this tension shaped him. Backhand index pointing right. His life shows us, doubt and struggle are not the enemies of truth, they are part of the path to it. Story connection. Think of a blacksmith. When iron is pulled from the fire, it is hammered and struck again and again. The blows seem destructive, but in truth, they are shaping the metal into something stronger. Blondel's doubts, challenges, and critics were his hammer blows. They didn't destroy his thought, they refined it. Modern example. A person raised in faith may go through a season of questioning. Instead of seeing that as betrayal, Blondel would see it as growth. An entrepreneur may face repeated failures, each one painful. But in the struggle, they discover resilience and creativity they never knew they had. A student may wrestle with confusing questions about identity, morality, or purpose. That wrestling, if honest, can lead to a deeper and more authentic truth than easy answers ever could. Life application. Don't panic when you feel doubt. Sit with it. Let it sharpen you. Don't run from struggles. Ask, what is this shaping in me? Remember, gold is tested by fire. Truth is tested by struggle. Backhand index pointing right. Blondel shows us that doubt is not the opposite of faith, it is the refining ground of faith. Lesson 10. Life has a hidden direction. One of Blondel's most beautiful insights is that beneath all our actions, choices, and longings, there is a hidden current pulling us toward transcendence. Even when we resist it, even when we chase illusions, the deep structure of life whispers, "You are made for more." Blondel called this the supernatural destiny of human beings. Our restless striving, our longing for freedom, our search for truth, all of it points beyond this world, toward something eternal. Story connection. Imagine standing at the edge of the sea. The tide moves in and out, waves rising and falling. To the casual eye, the water seems chaotic. But deep beneath, there is a hidden pull, the gravity of the moon drawing the entire ocean. Life is like that. On the surface, our actions may seem scattered, jobs, relationships, hobbies, dreams. But deep within, a hidden gravity pulls us toward the infinite. Modern example. Someone may say, I don't believe in anything higher, yet they still long for justice, truth, and love that never end. A busy professional may chase career success, but late at night, a question rises: what is all this for? A parent may raise children, feeling both joy and exhaustion, yet sense in their love a glimpse of something eternal. All of these are signs of that hidden current. Life application. Trust that your life has meaning, even when you can't see it. Pay attention to your deepest longings, they are signposts pointing home. Remember, you are not just drifting. You are being drawn. Backhand index pointing right. Blondel teaches us, your story is not random. It has direction, and that direction leads beyond the visible horizon. Conclusion: the lantern and the road. Let's end with a story. A traveler once walked a long and winding road at night. In his hand, he held a small lantern. It didn't light the whole road, but it gave him just enough light for the next step. Along the way, he stumbled, doubted, and sometimes felt like turning back. But the lantern guided him, step by step. And in the distance, though hidden by hills and valleys, there was a great light drawing him onward. That traveler is us. The lantern is our reason. The road is our action, our daily choices. The great light in the distance is the destiny Blondel spoke of, the infinite, the eternal, the more that our restless hearts are searching for. Maurice Blondel's life lessons remind us. Life is not just thought. It is action. Our desires point us beyond the finite. Faith and reason walk hand in hand. Restlessness is not failure, but guidance. Freedom is choosing what matters. Every choice builds who we are. We need grace beyond ourselves. Philosophy must touch real life. Doubt can refine truth. And in the end, all our journeys are pulled toward something greater. So the invitation is simple, yet daring. Backhand index pointing right. Don't just think about living. Live. Backhand index pointing right. Don't just settle for the surface. Listen to the depth. Backhand index pointing right. Don't just chase what glitters. Choose what endures. Your story, like Blondel's, is a philosophy of action waiting to be written.